Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick and today guys we're going to be jumping down into the world of Solana, taking a look at the most recent price action and what I think is likely to happen next. As I get into today's video, if you do find it useful and informative, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And if you haven't yet joined us in Discord, what are you waiting for? Check it out. Link is in the description down below. Let's kick things off though with that 1 hour time frame. So here we have Solana paired up with the USDT. We're using the 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘 spot exchange for this analysis. So as you can see, it's had a pretty interesting break to the upside since the 11th of September 2023. Now, what we want to do is we want to check to see whether this movement to the upside it is impulsive or a trend-setting structure, or whether it is still short-term corrective. So let's go ahead and just do some sense checks here just to see kind of where you sit. We have hit the 1.618, so that's a positive note. It basically will allow us to look at this as a trend to the upside. Okay, so taking a look here, we'd have to look at this as a bit of a diagonal movement to the upside here. And taking a look, I wonder if it is going to be contracting here, expanding out. We'll have to obviously just see whether it meets those criteria movements. Let me actually go ahead and use the correct tool there. So let's go ahead and see if I can get this to, so it's expanding, as you can kind of see. Now with this, you'd have to make sure that wave 1 was the smallest wave, which would be this area just here. And if I can get it in, there we go. Wave 3 cannot be the shortest, but wave 5 must be the longest. So wave 5 here comes up to the 1.236, and this one comes up to just short of the 1.236 as well. So it's very, very close to being the same size, but obviously we can't allow for that. So let me go ahead and check here and here. I'll just get that on. And so we still peak up a little bit higher. So expanding diagonal is what we have there. So it's important that we do these sense checks. Otherwise, we potentially end up a little bit, in the wrong positioning and wrong counts. So we have that there. Then, of course, we have a 3-wave correction to the downside. Nothing unusual here. And then a big movement to the upside. Now, in here, we can see that this is our peak. It looks like we have 5 here. So we'd have our wave 1 here, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So again, we are hitting those impulsive trigger points, I think, right up here, down into 4, up into 5. Okay, this basically means that this is a wave 4 and we've got to move up into a wave 5. Okay, that's the whole purpose of what we're doing there. So in order for us to be predictive, we need to know where we are. Okay, so let's go ahead and sense check this. This is our wave 5 high here, actually. So put that back here and then here. That's it. Okay, so truncated 5th wave just there, a little bit shorter than you'd expect it to be. But it is still your wave 5 positioning. Okay, we've moved down, and it's still possible that we move down a little bit further. I don't necessarily think that we are done just yet. We haven't got a clean break to the upside. Now, it can, of course, be diagonal, so it's not too problematic. So let's go ahead and get our target ranges. Let's assume that we've already bottomed here on the wave 4. And if we have, then our move is going to be to take us up to this area here between 25.67 and 26.24. That's going to be the range. And then, of course, that is going to be a 5-wave structure. Now, it's possible that this is a wave 1. We come down to a wave 2. We go up to a 3, 4, and then 5. And it's a diagonal structure within that 5th wave movement. Okay, but ultimately, our target range is going to be here between 25.67 and 26.24. That's going to be the 5th wave expectation, so a little bit more of a move to the upside. My expectation would be a test on the 200 EMA before we have that move, so another 13% to the upside after we finish the correction down. Okay, so that's the hourly chart on Solana, still looking pretty good. Take it to the daily time frame, and here you can see that ultimately this move to the upside is going to be a 5-wave pattern. This 5-wave pattern sits potentially inside a B-wave structure. Okay, so that means that essentially what we have here is more like this. So an A, up here into B and then down into C, something to this effect. Okay, and inside this B wave, we have the 5-wave pattern going up. We'll have a B wave coming down and then a C wave going up like so, and then a further downward move to the downside over here, just like so, before we actually then start to get a bigger kind of WXY pattern appearing. Something to that effect would be pretty cool. Alternatively, of course, we have a different structure appearing here, and this is our correction down, and this is the next break to the upside. If it is the next break to the upside, it wouldn't really fit with the bigger, wider economic climate, but it would allow you to look at this maybe more like so, as in we've already had the B wave down, and now we're doing the C wave upwards. Okay, I think for now it's a bit too soon to know, so I'd let that one ride. We know what's going on the micro structure side of things. We are looking for downward price pressure on the daily. So although we have that little mini break, right, so we can see this as a break here, we could pull back and then have another move upwards. That's kind of what I think is likely to happen, regardless of whether or not we think we're going to be in the A, B, C structure to the upside here, so A, B, and C like this, or whether or not we are in A, B, and C like this. Okay, it doesn't really matter. For the short-term movements, we can see that it is likely to still follow the same scenario because we have a 5-3-5 pattern playing out here. If you start with 5, you must end in 5, and our 5-wave starting position is here in this A wave, meaning we have to have the B down and we have to have the C higher. Okay, so that's an inevitability based on the current structures. The only other way that you can kind of account for the 5-wave structure is to have a flat correction, which I do not see at the moment. Okay, so I'm expecting this to be the play here, essentially that we have the ABC structure to the upside on the daily time frame. My momentum is looking for a shift to the downside, but we have to first of all have that little micro play to the upside, in my opinion. So let's take it to the weekly. The weekly looks like we may have bottomed out at $8. It's still possible that we push down a little bit deeper. Ultimately, our resistances are here at the 50 EMA, and we are looking to test this again. Now, it's no coincidence that the EMA, the 50 EMA, sits at 26.53, and on our hourly chart, our target range here is 26.24. Essentially, this is telling us that we're likely to find resistance in this upper area, and we are likely to see that correction to the downside, okay, even if it is just a short-term movement to the downside. Our weekly stochastic RSI has started to turn upwards, so we'll be a little bit nervous here about thinking about how much further this can go to the upside before having a major correction. But again, that's a slightly longer term play. If we have bottomed, then we still see pretty good, decent projections on Solana to the upside. You know, we will be talking about new all-time highs under the current structures here on a macro scale across multiple years. We would be looking at a potential move upwards to new all-time highs. And again, the $2,000 Solana is an incredibly optimistic target, I will say. I'm more kind of looking around the kind of $250 to $600 range. This yellow box area is a more comfortable place to be thinking, in my opinion, but we can see a $2,000 target there nonetheless, and that would be a pretty significant return on investment. So, you know, it is one of those. Keeping a close eye on how Solana kind of goes next and whether or not it is going to become that ETH killer that so many people are talking about. But guys, I think that's going to wrap up today's video on Solana. If you have found it useful and informative, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Until the next one though, guys, have a fantastic day.